What is up, everyone? This is the Jose Show. I hope everyone's having a fantastic Monday. I surely am, and we have a lot to talk about yesterday's Oscars, so now let's get started. Well, now, yesterday was pretty intense at yesterday's Oscars. We saw Coda win Best Picture, and we saw Will Smith win Best Actor, and Jessica Chastain win Best Actress, but something intense happened, and that happened to be the fact that Will Smith got to slap Chris Rock in the face. Well, apparently, yesterday, in the middle of a presentation that Chris Rock was going to do for an award, um, Will Smith unexpectedly goes upstage and slaps Chris Rock in the face. And after Will Smith slaps Chris Rock in the face, Will Smith screams at Chris Rock, telling him, "Keep my wife out of your effing name. Keep my wife out of your effing name." And after that, Chris Rock didn't take the incident in a very, very bad way. He instead got to say, "Wow, this is the best moment in the history of television." And he got to smile a little bit. So he took it the more mature way than Will Smith did. And apparently, after the incident, Bradley Cooper and Denzel Washington got to comfort Will Smith, and they were trying to calm him down. And when Will Smith got to win the award for Best Actor for his role on King Richard, Will Smith got to apologize to the whole entire audience at the Oscars, and he even got to apologize to the Oscars, saying that he just had that instinct and that, there is just times when people do stupid stuff out of love, and that was exactly what he did, especially because he was defending his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. And apparently, the incident happened all because Chris Rock, earlier in the show, got to make fun of Jada Pinkett Smith, who happens to be Will Smith's wife, about the fact that she is bald now. Now, as we all know, Jada Pinkett Smith is having a condition with her hair, which is what's having her not have a lot of hair. And unfortunately, Chris Rock made the joke that Jada was in a movie called Jedi Jane #2, and because she is now bald, kind of bald and apparently it did not sit well with Will Smith, and it didn't sit well with Jada Pinkett Smith either. And that's how the whole entire incident happened between Chris Rock and Will Smith. And I mean, in my personal opinion, I feel like Chris Rock did go a bit too far with that joke, calling Jada Pinkett Smith a Jedi Jane, because, I mean, when someone is going through a condition, especially through a hair condition where, they have no choice but to cut their hair, a lot of their hair off, and, they're trying to take care of themselves, I feel like we should step back from the jokes, and we should just, admit the fact that they are just going through a personal issue and a personal struggle, and that is it. And I feel like when it comes to making jokes, it's okay to make jokes about certain things, but not about everything. And these things were one of the jokes these things were one of the situations he was not supposed to be joking around in, especially in a night like the Oscars. So that's my take on Chris Rock's part. Now, on Will Smith's part, I feel like Will Smith should have taken the situation in a more mature way instead of slapping Chris Rock in the face. Especially because the fact that he got to slap Chris Rock in the face is now costing him an Oscar now, because now it's being rumored that the Oscars want to take away Will Smith's Oscar win, especially because Will Smith got to violate a code of the Oscars for the way he behaved towards Chris Rock. And Another thing that I have to say is Will Smith could have just simply had a word a one-on-one with Chris Rock and been like, you know what, dude, I understand that you are a comedian and that you are joking around and trying to entertain an audience, but you making fun of my wife's hair condition does not give you the right to joke around that way, so please lay off on the jokes. And that is it. That should have been Will Smith's way of um, handling things with Chris Rock. But unfortunately, there will be times when people will just let anger get to them more than the maturity that that Will Smith just decided to get physical with Chris Rock. Um, and then another thing that I have to say about this is, um, apparently Chris Rock and Will Smith are now, um, good. They made up now ever since the incident, backstage, according to a few sources. And apparently, now it's like nothing ever happened, but that's according to sources. But anywho, um, I also feel like the both of them did wrongdoings in the situation, but I feel like Will Smith went too far in the situation than Chris Rock did with his joke. That's what I think. And you know what? I feel like in a night like the Oscars, it is not the time, it is not the place to be laying a hand on someone and to be screaming at someone. It is not the place at all. It is the night where we are supposed to sit back, relax, and enjoy one of the best moments in Hollywood, where all of the best actors in Hollywood are getting recognized. And of course, where we should acknowledge the fact that there's a lot of happiness, a lot of enjoy moments going on in moments like that. That's what the Oscars are all about. It's about recognizing the moments and times of Hollywood, especially of what's best in Hollywood, like the movies. So, and the movie actors, of course. So that's what I think, in my opinion, about everything about last night. And so this, to me, I feel like it did bring up a lot of ratings to the Oscars. I feel like it was pretty worthy for the ratings, but at the same time, I feel like that was just not a great thing to do, to be slapping someone in the face. So, anywho, a lot of artists got to react, especially the ones that got to attend and got to witness the situation in person. They got to react to the whole entire situation. One of them happened to be Nicole Kidman, which, by the way, her reaction ended up being a meme, which is hilarious. And Lupita Nyong'o was right behind Will Smith while Will Smith was screaming at Chris Rock, which she got to have a priceless reaction as well. And Lupita Nyong'o was, of course, not happy about it. And Tiffany Haddish, Nicole Kidman, and Keith Urban, they got to also check up on Jada and on Will. And according to sources, people were coming over to Jada and hugging her. And then a man came and grabbed Will, and somebody hugged him, like pep talking him. And let me see. And then there was also other reactions, of course, by Amy Schumer, of course. Amy Schumer was just not happy about it, and she was also in shock. And of course, Wanda Sykes was also in shock, and then of course, Regina Hall was also in shock. I mean, the three of them, of course, they were not expecting it. And anyway, so it was just all, a huge chaos last night at last night's Oscars. I mean, for some part, it was a huge of a chaos. I mean, it wasn't a complete chaos, which was a good thing. But anywho, now let's get with the fact that Jessica Chastain got to win Best Actress last night at the Oscars. And to me, that was pretty iconic and it was well deserved because um, honestly, she deserved she deserves it. And I've known Jessica Chastain for such a long time since she was on The Help. So ever since then, I've noticed how much of a good actress she is. Um, so anywho, here are the winners for last night's Oscars. Alrighty then. So Coda, as we all know, won Best Picture, and for Best Director, Jane Campion won for The Power of the Dog. Um, Best Actor, well, went to Will Smith, but he was like the most controversial person of the night. Anyways, he won for his role as King Richard he won for his role on King Richard as Richard Williams. Jessica Chastain got to win for her role on The Eyes of Tammy Faye as Tammy Faye Baker. And for Best Supporting Actor, Troy Kotsur got to win for being Frank Rossi on Coda. And Ariana DeBose got to win for playing Anita on West Side Story. And for Best Original Screenplay, Belfast got to win for Kenneth Branagh. And Best Adapted Screenplay was given to Coda. Best Animated Feature Film, Encanto won that one. Best International Feature Film, Drive My Car, Japan and Japanese, directed by Ryusuke Hamaguchi, won. Best Documentary Feature, Summer of Soul or When the Revolution Could Not Be Televised, Amor, Questlove Thompson, Joseph Patel, Robert Fieveland, and David Dinerstein won. For Best Documentary Short Subject, The Queen of Basketball, Ben Proudfoot won. For Best Live Action Short Film, The Long Goodbye, Anil Karia and Riz Ahmed won. The Windshield Wiper won for Best Animated Short Film. Best Original Score, Dune, Hans Zimmer won. Best Original Song was won by No Time to Die by Billie Eilish. Best Sound was won by Dune. Best Production Design was won by Dune. Best Cinematography went to Dune. Best Makeup and Hairstyle was won by The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Best Costume Design, Cruella. Best Film Editing, Dune. Best Visual Effects, Dune. And yeah, those are all the winners. And basically, the biggest winner of the night, I think, happened to be Coda, by the way, which I think is amazing, in my opinion. No, the biggest winner of the night was actually Dune, but for winning Best Picture, it happened to be Coda. You know, so I mean that's actually pretty cool. That's pretty amazing just to see how a lot of good movies got to win last night and yesterday's ceremony. So yeah, and then the red carpet did not disappoint, ladies and gentlemen. We saw a lot of glamour, of course. We saw a lot of beautiful dresses, a lot of nice tuxes. We got to see a lot of everything in the red carpet. We got to see, of course, Regina Hall, Wanda Sykes, and Amy Schumer, of course, since they're the hosts. We got to see them. We also got to see Ariana DeBose rocking in a Valentino Hottie couture with De Beers jewelry. And then we got to see Becky G in Etro. She got to attend, and Carolina Herrera with Chopra jewelry and a beautiful lime green dress, by the way. And Zoe Kravitz got to wear a beautiful long pink dress in Saint Laurent with
culotte jewelry. And Nicole Kidman got to wear an Armani Prive. Jessica Chastain got to wear a beautiful Gucci dress. Zendaya got to wear a Valentino dress, which, by the way, it's gorgeous. Um, Tracy Ellis Ross got to wear a Carolina Herrera dress. Julianne Hough got to wear a Pamela Roland dress. And Molly Sims got to wear a beautiful red dress. I don't know what that one is. Diane Guerrero got to wear a Carolina Herrera dress as well, which is, by the way, there's a bunch of black dots in that dress, but it looks gorgeous, by the way. And then, out of the men, we got to see Bill Murray got to dress well. Um, and then Uma Thurman got to wear a Bottega Veneta. Maya Rudolph got to wear a Valentino dress as well. That's all in orange. Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker got to attend too, and they both of them looked really nice. Kourtney Kardashian got to wear a long black dress. Um, Apparently it's called Aquazzura, and Travis Barker got to wear a very nice tux. So yeah, we got to see a lot of good outfits on last night's ceremony too. So it was not just the awards; it was also the red carpet. So it was all glamour, it was all fashion, and it was all beauty and all wins for last night's Oscars. It was all beautiful, despite the fact that there was some ugliness going on with Will Smith and Chris Rock. But anyways, yeah, that is all what happened on yesterday's Oscars. And I can't wait for next week because next week are the Grammys, and I'll keep you guys updated on all of what happened on yesterday's Grammys. I mean, on next week's Grammys. So, yeah. So, anyways, from the Oscars to now more entertainment news. So now um let's talk about hmm. Okay, so now from the Oscars to now, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Well, apparently, um, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are going to have a podcast together. Well, just last week it was announced that the Duchess of Sussex announced Archetypes, the first ever podcast to be released under her and husband Prince Harry's Archewell audio production company. The Spotify original series will be hosted by Meghan and will feature her speaking with experts to uncover the origins of stereotypes around women, as well as candid conversations with those who know all too well how these typecasts shape narratives. She says in a newly released teaser of the show, which will debut this summer, "This is how we talk about women, the words that raise our girls, and how the media reflects women back to us." But where do these stereotypes come from? And how do they keep showing up and defining our lives? Elsewhere in the preview, Meghan describes Archetypes as a platform to dissect, explore, and subvert the labels that try to hold women back, adding that she'll speak with historians to understand how we even got here in the first place. Well, the podcast is a part of Meghan and Harry, the multi-year partnership they signed with Spotify back in 2020. At the time, the couple, who shared 2-year-old son Archie and 9-month-old daughter Lilibet, said they signed the deal in hopes of producing programming aimed to uplift and entertain audiences around the world. All right, well, this is actually pretty interesting how the both of them are going to have a podcast together. I think that this podcast is going to be a huge hit because this podcast is going to be all about, uplifting women. It's going to be all about uplifting people in society in general. And, I think that there's also nothing better than to hear advice and to hear stories from Meghan Markle and Prince Harry themselves because, first and foremost, they are the Duchess of Sussex. And second of all, well, she's the Duchess of Sussex, she's the prince. He's the prince. And, the both of them, I mean, they've already gone through a lot of struggles with, living in the royal palace and dealing with a lot of people there. And a lot of people want to hear that. And then another thing why I think it would be awesome that the both of them are now, I mean, it's awesome that the both of them are having a podcast, is because I think that since they have gone through personal issues living in the royal palace, they can give advice to people and according to the issues that they went through in the royal palace. And they can be like, you know what? I understand what you're going through, but my advice for you is for you to do X, Y, and Z because we went through X, Y, and Z in the royal palace, and we think that we could go and fix these things together as a society, as people, you know. And we as people, we can also better things up by listening to each other, by speaking to each other. That's something that's another thing that I think will be an advice given from Meghan and Prince Harry. So I think that this podcast is going to be quite a charm. And then I also think that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are also going to be huge influencers once they get to be releasing the Spotify podcast, because I mean this is also something to influence. This is actually something to um, give advice towards you. This is something that will help people out. This was something that will actually motivate people to and actually bettering their lives. So that's how I see it as well. And then another thing that I have to say about this is I also feel like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. I think it is nice that now they're focusing more on doing a podcast instead of focusing on what they used to do back in the royal palace. Because I feel like the more they get to focus on their podcast, the more they are going to be focused on more onto themselves and more into helping others than actually focused on all the drama that went back in the royal palace. Now, let's be real here. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, they went through a lot. It looked like they went through a lot of glamour, through a lot of beautiful stuff over at the royal palace because, I mean, the royal palace is gorgeous and then the people look important and everything. But sadly, in life, things aren't always what they seem to be. You know, sadly, I mean, sadly, it there will be times when you will experience bad things unexpectedly, especially from things that you expect them to be especially from things that you expect to be good, you know. So that's my personal take on this. And you know what, I also feel like Meghan Markle, I can imagine right now that she is a happy mom, to two kids, and she is a happy wife to Prince Harry. And I think that um, you know, that this podcast is also not only going to be a huge hit, but I definitely think that they're going to make a lot of money off of Spotify for making this podcast. That's for sure. So, I mean, it's going to be something. It's going to be something. But anywho, congrats to the both of them on premiering their podcast this summer. So please do not miss it and check it out on Spotify. All right, so now from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to more hot tea. So now let's talk about um, Jamaican leaders. Well, Jamaican leaders criticized Queen Elizabeth's leadership and asked for apology. Now, as Prince William and Kate Middleton arrive in Jamaica to celebrate Queen Elizabeth its Platinum Jubilee, prominent figures from the island nation are calling for reparations. Well, apparently, um, Prince William and Kate Middleton arrived in Jamaica to mark the monarch's 70th year on the throne, as we all know, and prominent figures of the island nation, which gained independence from British rule in 1962, penned an open letter to the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge on March 22, demanding an apology and recognition of the need for atonement and reparations from the royal family. Well, this is what was stated. We see no reason to celebrate 70 years of the ascension of your grandmother to the British throne because her leadership and that of her predecessors have perpetuated the greatest human rights tragedy in the history of humankind.
read the letter, which was shared online by human rights advocacy group, the Advocates Network. Well, during her 70 years on the throne, your grandmother has done nothing to redress and atone for the suffering of our ancestors that took place during her reign and/or during the entire period of British trafficking of Africans, enslavement, indentureship, and colonialization. Well, the letter also stated that instead of celebrating the Queen's milestone, the 100 people who signed the note will instead celebrate 60 years of freedom from British colonial domination. While urging William and Kate to use their platforms to redefine the relationship between the British monarchy and the people of Jamaica, the message concluded, "We are of the view that an apology for British crimes against humanity is necessary to begin a process of healing, forgiveness, reconciliation, and compensation." Alrighty then, well, this is pretty intense here. I think that this was also pretty unexpected for William and Kate and for Queen Elizabeth, in my opinion, because, I mean, they were definitely expecting for recognition, they were expecting for, happiness and joy, but for them, unexpectedly, it ended up just being a whole total mess. Well, what I personally think about the whole situation here is I feel like, if the people at Jamaica really think things are not going out well with Queen Elizabeth and that she doesn't deserve any recognition nor honoring, then you know what? So it be. I mean, people have their own opinions and people have their own decisions, and we have to respect them. Now, another thing is I also feel like Queen Elizabeth, I mean, that woman, I have never heard any, in my personal opinion, I've never heard Queen Elizabeth really achieve much in the royal palace. I really have never heard anything good and tremendous from her. And I'm not just saying this to be shady, I'm just saying this because it is the truth and it is coming from me. Now, I also feel like that Kate and William, the both of them, I feel like, they basically should just, obey and be like, okay, well, you know what, if things are the way they are, then they are who they are how they are, and you know what, I honestly think that, you know, Jamaica, I mean, they are people, there's a lot of people out there that have their views and different things. I mean, it's not just about, the royal palace, but I mean, of course, about a bunch of things. Well, just like all of us do, of course. They have different views about different things, and especially according to the stuff that they see. So that's all I have to say. Um, but anywho, I think that it is what it is, and that's all I have to say about this situation. Well, anywho, from that to now, more hot tea. Um, so now let's talk about um, TikToker. Well, there's a TikToker that represents. There's a TikToker, um, and apparently, this is pretty interesting. Well, according to TikToker Sarah Carolyn, who has more than 2.9 million followers on the social media platform, her sister Emily broke centuries worth of barriers by walking in the Jacqueline City Apparel charity fashion show this week. As a model with Down syndrome, Emily shattered expectations that lie within the fashion industry, including that people look, walk, and dress a certain way on the runway. Sarah wrote alongside a video that has since been viewed more than 2.2 million times. At the show, Emily modeled a baby pink t-shirt that read, "Disabled is not a dirty word," gray leggings and black sneakers. Meanwhile, Sarah, who accompanied her younger sister down the catwalk, wore a white tulle skirt embellished with chains and mini sword decorations and black heels. Well, the outfit's designer Jacqueline City took to TikTok on Wednesday, February 16, to share her vision behind the looks. Well, Emily is very sensitive to clothing, so I did not create her an outfit head to toe. For her, I gave her a bunch of different options. Jacqueline said in a video she was so excited to pick out this t-shirt. Well, this is pretty interesting. Hmm, pretty interesting in my personal opinion. But this was a month ago that was reported, but anywho, I'm just reporting it now just for you guys that have not heard of this whole entire news. But anywho, um, this is pretty interesting though to see that a model with Down syndrome is achieving a lot in life and that they are literally setting the example out there, not just for everyone out there, but for especially the people that have Down syndrome just like her. You know, she's coming to prove that she can do it regardless if she has Down syndrome or not, and that she has the ability to do that or more, that and more, you know, as a person with Down syndrome. So this right here I also call being a really good role model, especially for the people that have Down syndrome, you know. And I also think that she is also being a really good role model because there are a lot of people out there that have the dream, especially people with Down syndrome that have the dream of wanting to be a model, of being an actor, of being a TV host like me, of being a teacher, of being etc. And they really have that dream, but unfortunately there's just a bunch of people out there that have those dreams crushed and they're like, nah, but I can do it because of so and so, or oh, because I have Down syndrome or I have autism, you know. And that's not really good because that's just a bunch of negativity being put in there, you know. But these people are actually setting the barriers, are actually setting the good example that hey, I have autism too. I have Down syndrome too. So I, I myself am doing this, and I am setting a good example that I can do this. So can you. You know. So that's what it's all about here. So I feel like TikTok. It's been all about the bad vibes, of course, about a bunch of raunchy images, about a bunch of girls showing their tits and their butts and this and that. But TikTok could also be used for something good. And it could, like situations like these, for example, like with Sarah Carolyn, for example, and Emily, that they're showing, good examples of life and good examples of, you know, things of what you can do in life, especially. So this is good. This is amazing. So I applaud Emily for definitely giving out that good example out there, especially as a TikToker. Alrighty then, so now from that to now Wendy Williams. Now let's talk about Wendy Williams, who we all know has been going through a lot lately with her financial issues and with her health issue. As we all know, she's been suffering from Graves' disease these past several months, and as we all know, she has been out of the Wendy Williams show for the past 8 months now. Well, apparently she is having a war with her bank right now, which is Wells Fargo. And apparently, according to Wendy Williams in a recent interview that she had with Entertainment Tonight, Wendy Williams stated that, and this was a phone call interview. It was not a virtual, and it was not an in-person interview. According to Wendy Williams, Wendy is doing perfectly fine and she feels fit enough to return to television. She says that she will most definitely return to the Wendy Williams show in 3 months, and that right now she is not back in the television because of her battle with her bank. And apparently, it all comes to show that apparently it has been said by so many tabloids that Wendy is disabled and she cannot access her bank account. Well, apparently, according to Wendy, that is all false because Wendy is not disabled. She is not ineligible. She is actually more than eligible to access her own bank account and to unfreeze her money so she can use it. But what happened was that there was a guy that she knew that is apparently allies with Wells Fargo, that he reported Wells Fargo that Wendy Williams was disabled and could not access her bank account. And that's why her bank account ended up being frozen. Well, apparently, that's what happened, and Wendy got very upset, and now Wendy is trying to get her account back, and she's trying to have access to her account again, and now apparently Wendy is you know in the middle of this whole entire situation where basically the bank is being convinced of something that isn't true. So that's what it's all about here. Um, Now, I really hope the best for Wendy Williams. I hope that she gets to have the well deserving access to her bank account so that way she can be able to, of course, pay her bills, pay her personal stuff, because I mean, of course, she needs to. And also, I feel like um, stuff like this, when someone is falsely reporting you as disabled or as whatever, so you won't access your own bank account, I feel like that is just a bunch of whack right there, and I just feel like it's a bunch of ridiculousness out there. And I feel like it's situations like that where the person needs to mind their own business and they need to just stay out of those certain situations, big time. Okay, that's what I also think. So if I was Wendy Williams, I would have been like, boo, you need to go away. You need to leave, or I'm going to sue your ass because I am not going to be tolerating the fact that you be falsely accusing me of certain things that I'm not in. And now that you put me in a stiff situation with my own bank. So, boo, bye, that's what I would. That's what I would do if I were Wendy Williams, big time. Now, I also would be like, you know what, Wells Fargo, this is me. I'm fine. I'm good. I can walk, I can talk, and I can lock it. Okay, so give me back my bank account, and I want it all. I'm Wendy. I'm good, and I'm good. Okay, it's all good in the hood with me. Okay, and this is with all seriousness. I know I sound funny, but this is with all seriousness. That's what I think about it all. So, anywho, Wendy, good luck with all of what you're going through. And I hope we get to see you back on the Wendy Williams show on June, at least for you to say your last goodbyes, because I know the show's gonna end. It's gonna get canceled in June, unfortunately, and it's gonna get replaced by the Sherri Shepherd show coming this fall on Fox stations. So, anywho, I hope we get to see at least something from you, Wendy, in the next few months, and that is all I got to say. Well, anyways, that is it for today's show, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode of The Jose Show. I'll be back with more hot tea on tomorrow's episode, so please stay tuned for more. Alrighty then, please follow me on social media, on Instagram and on Twitter, or on Facebook if you want. Till next time, peace.